Oh, we are live. What up, guys? It's Sunday. It's already football popping. If you've been watching, if you've been on the internet, you should be knowing we do our pods 10:30 Eastern, even if there's football going on. NFL Fantasy Day Show. I'm your host, John Sales. A little rough intro, but we've been up for hours, so this is almost our second win. It's just me and Nate today. We're gonna be, kicking ass, taking numbers. So Nathan, what's cooking? You watching the game?
Yeah, watching DK Metcalf run it up on my bench right now, so that's cool. Yeah, getting some early football in, so that's always nice.
Yeah, these London Ireland games, whatever, are always so weird. I hate having fancy guys in them because I feel like it's always low scoring. But I looked at one point, Carson Wentz and Aaron Rodgers were combined like 15 for 15, and that was before that 80-yard bomb. So I think you said you benched DK, and he's got 4 for 122 and a touchdown already. That's
hmm
gotta hurt.
Yeah, not too fun, but I have uh, Pickens and AJ Brown ahead of him right now, so it's not the worst. Still got time.
Yeah, that's probably true. Tough matchup. So well, maybe not for AJ. So yeah, we got this London. We got the early slate, then we got the 1 p.m., 4 p.m. We got the Sunday nighter. What games? Let's just run through some previews, or let's do some health stuff. Right, Jalen Warren was ruled out early. That's a bummer for a lot of people who didn't set lineups. Like that should almost be criminal because a lot of people, especially West Coast, aren't getting up to set their lineups. We got John Jennings is probably going to play. Chuba Hubbard's going to play. Any other ones that jump out at you?
Um, uh, Bill Krosky Merritt's gonna play.
Yeah.
Mariota's gonna start for them though. No McLaurin in that game either. Expect a big Mariota and Debo game.
Yeah,
From
but
there.
that Atlanta D is kind of sneaky good, right? Their metrics are awesome. They've been holding, other than giving up 30 to the Panthers last week, but that game was a full anomaly.
hmm
And then okay, cool. And then what games do you like? Because it seems like there's a bunch of like one-sided games. Like whoever's playing Dallas is always great. Also, Chargers playing the Giants. Giants defense has been kind of crappy. Your team, your secondary is kind of crap. Although you've been pretty good against the run.
hmm
What jumps out at you?
Yeah, I think the Bears Raiders could be a sneaky pop off game with two bad secondaries and two teams that like to air it out. Um, if both teams are hitting on their deep ball, this game could run up in a hurry because they'll both be looking for it from the jump. They're two of the highest neutral pass rate offenses in the league, um, with bad run games, so they should have all intention to air it out here.
Yeah, and I think Bears also really banged up. Like Grady Jarrett's out, Jalen Johnson's out. What's the what? So the only thing I would worry about is Nate's got the best chart ever here. So Bears defense. What about running back? Like, how have they been doing against running backs? Because maybe the only fear is Genty actually has that breakout game. Maybe he gets 25 for 150 or something, and he just starts cooking.
Yeah, they've been beatable on the ground. They were the sixth. They allowed the sixth most fantasy points to running backs last season, and they're currently 22nd in run stop win rate. The Raiders just have no push up front. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. They're just getting blown up in the run game
That's true. It's not gonna
every
like flip
play.
overnight. Like then he's getting. What did I see? Like every yard he's had is after contact or something, right? So
Yeah,
there's no open lanes, no smooth gaps. He's having to do a lot of work, and that's got to be frustrating. Okay, so yeah, Raiders, Bears. So what are you doing in that game? Obviously, we're starting Rome, we're starting Brock, we're starting Jacoby. Anyone else? Like Trey Tucker had that breakout last week. Is he a flex wide receiver 3?
Yeah, I put Tucker in flex conversations, especially with so many so much pessimism around other receivers out there right now with all the quarterback injuries and all that going on in the league. Tucker might be more appealing. He's getting all the snaps. He's shown a connection with Gino, and they have an intention to he'll be involved in the offense for all 4 quarters, no matter how the game script goes.
Okay. So what's the line for you? Like Trey Tucker, like let's say, Atlanta Darnell Mooney or any of the non-Pickens Dallas receivers, or what about any Green Bay receiver?
Yeah, probably put Tucker over all the guys that you mentioned up until Green Bay's Golden.
Ah,
Um,
right. Nice.
And then I'd probably have him and Romeo Dobbs kind of neck and neck.
Because the matchup, because Green Bay is Green Bay Dallas, and we would know Dallas can't stop anyone. But the thing is, Green Bay likes to run it, right? So it's like that could be a 20, or that could be like a 20 carry Jacob game and like a 15 carry whoever. Who's Green Bay's second running back?
I think it's Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah, because Marshawn Lloyd's definitely going to be out because he's always out. So I'm just those games I always worry because it's like, yeah, they're going to get their quick 30, but then if you're not part of that 30, that second half, you could just be your guys aren't even on the field.
Mm-hmm. The Packers are 6th in EPA per pass and 20th in EPA per run, so they are more effective through the air right now, and they're going to be down a couple offensive linemen in this game too. Believe they're down their starting right tackle, Zach Tom, and their left guard is doubtful. So there could just be some trouble opening up those lanes on top of an already kind of average running game it's been for Green Bay so far this year.
Yeah, it's been more quantity over quality. Jacobs seems like he might be entering a little different phase of his career. Maybe the crazy usage from last year, but he's kind of like a 20 carry for like 60 to 70 yards guy, where it said last year he was getting 20, he's going for like 120.
Yeah, I think his production will be similar to what it's been so far this season, but I think that the touchdown opportunities will be more should be more frequent in this game than he's had in some of the other matchups. So he could fall into the end zone once or twice here against
Okay, so
Dallas.
so I was up talking about this. I talked about it on Thursday with Brian and Jason. Which side of that fantasy matchup do you want to be on? Green Bay, who's heavily favored, playing the bad defense, who's going to be able to do whatever they want, or Dallas, who's underdog and is going to be down, negative game script, going to be having to pass to catch up, right? If it goes well, Dak could throw for 200 yards in the second half, where Love maybe throws for 50, but maybe 200 in the first half. So which side of the coin do you like? I feel like I was like, sorry, I'll go first. I like the Dak side, but Brian's always like he likes the Green Bay side because they're projected more higher points, and it's going to be easier for them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the way I look at it would be like the run game on the favored team and then the passing game on the
Yeah,
the
that's
team
cheating.
that's down
No, that's cheating. I'm saying
But
just passing. Like,
probably Green Bay just because of the matchup. Like you're locked in to play a bad team. Whether you're playing from behind or ahead, you're going to be going against a bad Cowboys defense.
okay, yeah, for sure. I remember I always had this game stuck in my head. It was a playoff game, Saints Lions, Matthew Stafford era, and I was all in on Stafford. They're playing in New Orleans, and my buddy's like, "Well, why?" Because Saints Lions always had bad secondary, but I was like, "Saints are going to win." He's like, "Why would you just bet on Drew Brees?" And obviously, Drew Brees threw for like 350 and went way over all his marks because it's a playoff game, and I kind of did galaxy brain. It's like, well, what if they're down? And Stafford ended up hitting, but he made me sweat. So
Yeah.
it's just that garbage time people kind of get obsessed with, or at least I do. And then a lot of the times it's like if it's not going well, it's just not going well. And I could see Dak. I benched Dak even in all my 1 QB leagues. He could have the 27 for 45 for like 197 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, and that's not really going to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like you said, there's just more likely scenarios where Dak doesn't hit here, down CeeDee Lamb against a great defense.
Okay, and then I'm just looking at Packer secondary. I mean, right, second in QB points allowed. They're the fourth best defense in wide receiver, eighth in running, or actually, that's the Niners. So second, fourth, seventh, same thing. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, what's another game? Let's get to. Well, I get my computer sorted. Jags Niners. I know, Jason. Jason was talking about that as being a potential high scoring game because we got Bosa ACL. Both teams kind of sneaky offenses, but can the Jags get back on track? Right. This Brian Thomas Jr. thing seems like it's half the internet. Where are you on that? Because we were talking earlier, the Jags are actually throwing to their wide receivers like crazy, but their drop rate's the highest in the league, and they're spreading it out. Parker Washington was getting a lot. Dynamic Brown, who's out.
Yeah, I like if I was trying to trade for Brian Thomas Jr. in a few leagues as a buy low candidate. I think that the talent is still there. The opportunity will still be there whenever the his hands come back to him. And the team's passing volume is really high right now. So whoever's starting for them is going to see a ton of looks. And I think Parker Washington is a sneaky look this week with De'Ami Brown out. Travis Hunter, Liam Coleman already said that his role isn't going to grow much this season. His opportunity share may grow, but his role in the offense won't change. So that means with De'Ami Brown out, Parker Washington is essentially the wide receiver 2, whereas Travis Hunter's in this kind of bottled down role in the offense.
Yeah, I was just reading his route participation's down on offense, but he's playing more snaps on defense. You cannot play Travis Hunter. You don't really want to drop him, but he's just not playable right now. So yeah, anybody, if you're watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube, give us a like, a subscribe. That all works, and obviously give us all your comments. I'm gonna let them build up for a little bit, and then we'll hit them. So we'll just keep previewing some games. So yeah, start sits, trades. Give us anything you got. We will get to it. So this awesome chart you gave me. What's your favorite stat here? Right, like I love the neutral pass rate. I feel like that's great. Like you see the Jets that are 32nd and last, right? So that means in a second and 6 or something, they're more likely to run the ball than pass it. Who's really high in that neutral pass rate? I know the Rams were high. You were just saying.
Chargers are number 1, I believe, and they're also number 1 in wide receiver usage. Hence why Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson have both been getting home ahead of Ladd McConkey this season. Excuse me. I think that stands out. The Bengals are still second, even after Jake Browning starting for 7 quarters for him. It looks like that won't change their identity on offense despite the QB change.
Yeah, Carolina's third. That was kind of surprising to me, especially with that 30-10, game, and they got Tubba Hubbard, they got the O-line, and they don't really have receiving threats. It just seemed really weird to me that they're choosing to pass so much. Ravens too, right? I think they're high.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a reflection on Derrick Henry or Lamar's. I think rushing. He's got the highest yards per rush of his career, but the lowest rushing attempts. So maybe it's only been 3 games, so maybe some of these stats are a little wonky, but they're great to help you with a couple, little if you got little tough combos.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of split hairs here when you're looking at matchups that check more boxes than others.
What's you created this? Well, give me a couple other stats here that kind of jumped out as you as being like, whoa, that's kind of so shocking.
Patriots being 9th in EPA for pass, despite being in their second in fantasy tight end usage among all teams, with Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper out there. So their offense right now is just humming through the tight ends. So with all the names that were buzzing in the receiving room, with Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, Kyle Williams this offseason, even Kayshon Boutte popped for a game early this year. It seems like Hunter Henry is right now Drake May's guy, getting a ton of volume, and he might be just a must start for like the here and now.
Okay. Sorry, I was multitasking. I was looking. I saw. So Dolphins are third in EPA per run. That just seems crazy because it changed more of a receiving back. Ollie Gordon hasn't really gotten involved in the O-line's crap, and they've kind of been down. And the Chiefs were second or third in EPA per run, and Pacheco's been terrible. I know Mahomes is the leading QB rusher, but I know this isn't exactly like your super forte, but can you give me a little insight into how they're so high?
Yeah, so I believe this isn't limited to position, so it does include quarterback rushing in the EPA for rush metrics.
Sorry, it does or doesn't?
It does. So Patrick Mahomes he's been scrambling really effectively through 3 games. When he does take off, he's getting chunk gains every left and right. So that's probably inflating their EPA per run there. And I think they're still a good run blocking team too. No, they're 20th right now, but they look better than the stats reflect right now in that department. I think they're just lacking juice from their guys in the backfield.
Yeah, but then Miami, because Tua's not running it.
And I think that's the opposite of where the the talent that they have in HN is just blowing expectations out of the water with the blocking he does get.
Okay.
And they've been middle of the pack this year in that department too, whereas they were like dead last in run blocking last season.
Okay, cool. Let's get to another game here. Just pick one. Oh, let's do the Bills Saints. That's this huge spread. It's another of those kind of which side do you want to be on, right? The Saints have been pretty mediocre, but their pace, right? Their pace is crazy. You look at any chart for plays per game, and it's like it's them, and there's no second, third, or fourth. So they're going to play at a crazy pace, which might make Buffalo speed up. Either way, it's going to probably be a lot of plays in this game. Obviously, James Cook is was he your RB1 this week?
I think he's my RB2, RB2 or 3 behind McCaffrey.
Makes sense. So let's talk that game. Let's talk Bill's side first. Like, do you like the pass catchers, even though 15-point spread? We know Bills like to run when they're up. Shakir and Keon Coleman, they're kind of sneaky good matchups, even though the volume won't be there.
Yeah, I like both of those guys as flex options. Excuse me. I like both of them as flex options here, but I'm doing that knowing that I could get a dud from them if they end up just milking the clock and putting it on the ground for 40 minutes.
Or maybe it's a tight end game, right? Dawson Knox gets involved. Dalton Kincaid's been awesome. It looks like he's it's the post-hype sleeper, year after breakout. A lot of people gave up on him, so that looks great. Let's just and then the Saints side of the ball. So Kamara is a great receiving back. He's kind of getting older. He's not as explosive. Do you like him in this matchup where they're going to be down and maybe checking down, even though Rattler doesn't check down that much?
Yeah, I think the Bills are pretty beatable on defense, and I think that the Saints, all their guys are kind of PPR flex options here, in my opinion. Juwan Johnson's probably a good start here. Alvin Kamara should be a good RB2. Chris Olave, and I'd probably put Rashid Shaheed on the fringe of a flex option here, but this is a game to do it if you're projected to be down 14.5. Shaheed should have all the opportunity in the world to blow up in this one.
So what do you do when you got two stats that are kind of counteracting each other? Like, I think is Juwan Johnson the tight end 2 right now? Fantasy points per game?
Yeah, 2 or 3, I believe.
Yeah, same thing essentially. But the Bills are now second in tight end points allowed, right? Points allowed to tight end. So which gives way in that? Like, I guess you're obviously starting Juwan Johnson, but if you got Juwan Johnson or let's say Tucker Kraft, what are you doing?
Well, Tucker Kraft was my tight end 1, so I'm starting him over everybody this week. But I do like Juwan Johnson a lot. I think they like he's viewed more than your average tight end around the league in the Saints offense. I think he's more valuable to them than the average tight end is to their offense. They view him as a dynamic pass catcher. He's essentially the second option out there behind Chris Olave, and he's getting high value targets out there.
Okay, yeah. So guys, if you're watching, give us your questions. We're seeing the viewers are jumping up. Give us your start sets. We'll just keep previewing games. I just like the questions to build up a little bit so we can hit the flow and not just be bouncing back and forth all the time. So don't worry, we will get to all your questions. Okay, so Chris Olave, so Saints, so Olave, where do you have him? Because he's getting all these targets. He's target king. I'd have to check, but I'm sure he's top 5 in targets, right? He might be top 3. But a lot of them, they're short yardage targets, right? He's getting maybe 10 targets, catching 7 for 50 yards, right? Do you have him over any of the Bills pass catchers, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think he'd probably be the top pass catcher in this game.
So what about the other games? Like, is he a wide receiver 2? Would you start him over every wide receiver 2? Like, let's say DJ Moore, Romeo Dobbs, John Jennings is going to play, maybe Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, right? Where do you have that?
Yeah, I'd probably have him over all those guys you mentioned. Trying to think of any other wide receiver too, like maybe Keenan Allen. I'd play over him.
Yeah. Well, the Keenan Allen this thing's weird, right? Because him and Quentin Johnson are both top 10 wide receivers. Ladd, I had it before. I think maybe he's outside the top 30, but that is going to flip, right?
Eventually.
Okay. What about so let's talk tight ends for a second. Because you do the tight end rankings. I'm the big tight end aficionado. Is this so far the demise of the elite tight end? Because Brock Bowers has got one touchdown. He's been playing hurt. This could be the breakout. Trey McBride has to rely on Kyler Murray, so he only has that one touchdown, but it was a yard out. He's still getting solid volume, but 7 catches, 60 yards. You can find that somewhere, right? Jake Ferguson is a tight end machine. You got Tucker Kraft as your wide receiver 1. Juwan Johnson's the tight end 2. George Kittle got hurt. What did you do with your tight ends? And if you went tight end late, does it feel like you're vindicated?
I was pretty split on tight ends this year. I have a couple elite tight end teams, and if you took them, then you lost value at that round. At this point, through 3 weeks of the season, you probably are taking a losing pick if you took Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, or George Kittle.
Which I did in every league.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think there's still a lot of season left. Brock Bowers should get healthier as he goes. Trey McBride is still steady. He's just not hitting those ceilings yet. And George Kittle, of course, there hasn't been much on him yet. Hopefully we get some sort of positive news on his recovery process, but he's on IR and still out for the foreseeable future.
I think week six is what Jason's saying, but Ayuk is also not anywhere close, so he could easily be the the number 1 target when he comes back. Knock on wood.
Yeah, so still maybe even some buy low candidates there on all those guys. If there are some people regretting their decisions that want to get off early, I think all of them should still have a great outlook for the rest of the season whenever Kittle gets back on the field too.
So who are your kind of elite, not elite tight ends right now? We talked Juwan Johnson, Tucker Kraft, Dalton Kincaid. Is there anyone else?
Jake Ferguson's target share is going to be through the roof. So he's a lock right now. I'm not sold on Mark Andrews. He's going to be a boomer bust guy to me.
I think likely he's going to play today too. So.
Go Tyler Warren. If you didn't mention him already, he's number 1 in the league in yards after catch on any position.
Really?
I believe so.
Holy crap!
Everything he's getting is just catch and run, and it's been automatic.
Okay, that's a perfect way. Let's segue to that Colts game, right? The Colts been one of the best offenses. I think Daniel Dimes, is he the QB1 in EPA? It's something crazy. Jonathan Taylor is the RB1. I'm pretty sure, even though CMC is getting crazy volume. Do you like Indy this week? Because the Rams have kind of a pretty good defense. Where are you with that? Because they got all these pass catchers: Michael Pittman and A.D. Mitchell, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. Pierce was out with the concussion. I got to see if he's playing. But Downs is kind of the odd man out here, and he was one of my breakout picks.
Yeah, unfortunately for Josh Downs, Alec Pierce is pretty good at football too, and he's been getting the 2 wide receiver looks over him sometimes, and I think Josh Downs, the talent is still there. So if Alec Pierce is missing any time, I think him being on the field more should result in a chance at the finishes you were hoping to get from him if you drafted him. I'm a believer in Daniel Jones. He's looked great. This game is the highest spread total on the week, and there's a heavy sharp lean on the over.
Sorry, not spread total, like point total.
Or point total, sorry. Highest point total on the week. There's a heavy sharp lean on the over. Yeah, I think Daniel Jones should be locked in for another elite finish.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Assuming he can stay upright and that pass rush doesn't get to him, but he's been good so far in the pocket.
Yeah, so in Indy, I feel like I should have seen it coming because it just reminds me of 2 years ago with Detroit. I was big on Sam Laporta after he broke all the rookie tight end records, and then Brock broke. But the Jameson Williams kind of emergence made Laporta just kind of expendable, and that's kind of just the reverse happening on Indy. Tylen Warren's emergence has made Josh Downs expendable. So I think I'm still holding him. I'm not playing him anymore. But the problem is A.D. Mitchell might be the best wide receiver on the team. His route share is going up crazy. So I think it'll have to be an injury to Michael Pittman for Downs to really take off, which is frustrating because, I got him in a bunch of leagues.
Yeah, I agree. Just a log jam there, and a ton of talent. Like you said, A.D. Mitchell playing behind him as the 4th receiver there. him getting on the field more is just, he's an explosive play any given snap.
So let's just see. Let's check a couple of these Colts stats because it's crazy, right? EPA per play first, EPA per EPA per pass second, right? Run block win rate third, fantasy RB usage fifth, right? They're just crushing it. And I got to give props to Anthony. He was on this Daniel Jones thing early. We were doing best ball drafts. He's like, Daniel Jones is going to start. Won't be Anthony Richardson. And then I was like, well, if he's starting, I love that because it's just the upgrade to competent, right? Their offense was inept last year, and Daniel Jones can run a competent offense. So, I feel like anyone who got Daniel Jones in fantasy in the Superflex league is probably in first place.
Yeah, huge. Honestly, a league winner for Superflex right now.
Okay. So let's hit a couple questions here, guys. Give me your questions. I want them all. I want to feed. Me and Nathan are locked in right now. I had a bad fantasy week last week, but I think I'm ready to just dominate. Especially my high stake leagues. It's so funny. So the first 3 weeks are roto, so it's like 12-man leagues. The first 6, if you're in the top 6 point scoring, you move on. So I'm 2-1 in both. I missed out being 3-0 in one by like 1.5 fantasy points on that stupid Ravens game. All right, Tyler, with the Jack Black picture. Okay, what up? Would you trade Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen for Lamb and BTJ? Okay, PPR redraft. Okay, this is crazy. So Adams is going to play. He's got a little hammy in this injury. I was big fading him because wide receiver cliff, and I think third team in 3 years. There's a reason. I do think he will fall off, so I would sell high. Selling high Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen is the greatest fantasy trade ever. Getting Lamb and BTJ is going to be tough because I don't know how big your league is, how deep it is. You're obviously going to be taking a massive wide receiver hit for at least probably a week or two. So if you're 3-0, you have to do this trade, right?
Yeah, judging that you're trading Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen, if you drafted them, you probably drafted other receivers earlier than them too. So you probably have other guys that you're starting, so you can eat this trade for sure. I would do this in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure your record's got to be pretty good because you got those two. But it's like you're probably depending on your depth and how big your league is, you might be losing the next 2 weeks, right? So there's a lot of variables. Sometimes this is unbelievable. Obviously, you have to do this trade, but there are what's first place money, right? How many teams in the league? How many teams make playoffs? Is there a bye week? This is probably gonna hurt you getting coming in first place, right? So that's the only thing I would think about. But I mean, Jesus Christ, Lamb and BTJ, that's insane. But you could see in 4 weeks, maybe BTJ still sucks. Lamb's injury isn't healing, and it's like Keenan Allen is still and Devontae are still top 10 wide receivers. But you have to make the trade. Okay, Anthony, I don't think we really want to help you, but Tucker Kraft or Jake Ferguson, full PPR. What are we doing? I mean, you had Kraft as a tight end 1, right?
Yeah, I just trusting the matchup there. He's their wide receiver 1 to me.
Even though so this is funny because they're going head to head, right? This is perfect, right? Kraft is probably going to get limited quantity, but the quality is going to be insane. Ferguson is a quantity monster. He might even be the number 1 option with Pickens more of the deep threat, right? So Ferguson could see 15 targets in this game.
Yeah, the answer is to flex Ferguson and start Tucker Kraft.
So let's just quickly Packers. Let's see where are they? So they're giving up the 27th most points to tight ends. So if there's anywhere you can attack Green Bay, it is in the tight end spot. So, so you're saying play both, figure it out.
Yeah, I think both are elite options this week. They should both finish atop the position.
Okay, so let's just say you're flexing Ferguson and you're flexing out, wide receiver or running back. What about like a Quinton Judkins or a Quentin Johnson? How high would you go to make sure you get Ferguson in there to craft your tight end 1?
Oh man, those are good names that you brought up because those are probably right around the line.
What I do?
I just want to be a tight end guy and just say start Ferguson over him.
Okay. I don't hate it because I mean targets are gonna be crazy. And we know that like the throw in the red zone, Javante's been solid, but I don't know if you can run on the Green Bay front. Okay, next Anthony question. Jesus, Anthony, at least join the show. You're gonna hog up all the airtime. T. Higgins or Tootin? Is Higgins just? I don't think you can start Higgins right now.
Yeah. It's probably Tootin, but That's gross.
I think it's 'cause he scored in like back-to-back weeks, right? He's getting a lot of pass catching work. It's turning
He
into a bit more of a timeshare.
he lost some like he got outsnapped by LaQuint Allen, who is the other rookie behind him. But I think they still like Tootin more to be the next guy of the backfield. And he's getting high value touches. This is just a gross one.
So the argument for Higgins is playing Denver, going to be down, going to be throwing, but they were down last week in Minnesota. But if Patrick Surtain locks on to Chase and maybe Browning's a little, gets worried about that, as everyone should, maybe Higgins finally sees some usage. We also saw today, Chase was like, what is Higgins, when he comes up to you and asks for a ball, what do you say? And, Chase is like, just demand the ball. So, Higgins hasn't been involved. So maybe he does see some more usage in a kind of a sneaky good matchup just because how good Patrick Surtain could be.
Yeah, T. Higgins is still like an elite talent. So if you want to because it's so bad, if you want to just play the more talented football player, it's T. Higgins 10 times out of 10 right now. And so I see where you're coming from. They're still second in pass rate. The volume will be there. It's just the matter of T. Higgins getting the ball his way.
Yeah, I am pretty close to benching Higgins. I might bench him this week for Juwan Jennings, who's going to play, but I want to see if he's going to be on that snap count. It's a Sunday night game. He's just not getting the usage, but I think teams after they get blown out are usually a lot better. So I expect Cincy to be much better than they were in the blowout against Minnesota. Denver's, it's just Sunday nighter. I don't know. It's tough for me. But I will be benching Higgins next week if he doesn't. If he has anything less than like 5 for 70, he's on my bench. Okay, let's plant some trees. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. What up, my man? It's just a lot going on in that picture. Just trying to see what's going on there. Need 2 for flex. PPR. Jacoby Myers, Cam Skataboo, Ashton Jeanty, Devontae Smith. Oh man. Okay, so Smith is out for me. Right, so Skataboo. So Skataboo's got that tough matchup, but Tyrone Tracy's out. I mean, what are you doing here? We got 2 Raiders. Are you playing both?
Yeah, you're not playing both. I'm playing Skataboo for sure here. And I probably play. I think Jacoby Myers is a good post high play here after Trey Tucker's pop off game last week. But Ashton Jeanty is guaranteed touches against if they can get him the ball on swing passes in open space. That's all I'm looking for in this game. He's got juice to beat this Bears defense.
Because, right, we go Chargers defense, right? 11th QB points allowed, 7th wide receiver points allowed, 4th and running back points allowed. So they're top 5, against running backs. Skataboo, we got this. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the Giants quarterback.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Darden, who posted a picture of Madison Beer and then deleted it. But the Chargers are a lot better, so this could be a sneaky high-scoring game. But are you betting on Dart at least indirectly if you're playing Skataboo?
Yeah, I think that Dart should overall be an upgrade to the offense too, and we saw Skataboo get it done last week. I'll be watching to see how Dart uses the check down with Skataboo in this game. But if he can keep that usage up, then Skataboo is still his trajectory is up there for elite usage to be an RB1.
I might just chase the matchup and play Myers and Jeanty. Right, I like betting against that Bears D, even though I think the boys only had 14 against them, but they just keep losing guys. I know I'm going to get a really good game from one of them. I'm just a little fearful. New young rookie QBs don't really check down. I feel like he's going to go scramble or look Malik's way. So Skataboo's not getting that usage. And then also if they get down, because the Chargers offense is among the best in the league, maybe Skataboo's not even running the ball, right? Maybe Singletary's in or something. So Skataboo, as much fun as he is and as dope he is, I don't think it's a great matchup for him, especially with the new QB situation and with such a giant switch from Russ. I'm not going to bet on it, but betting on Genty, I mean, at least he's going to get, the goal line carries when they get down there, right?
Yeah, Scadaboo is a goal line guy too.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Giants will get down there, but I'm worried that
Gotcha.
the QB will take the goal line rush, right?
Mhm.
Carries.
Yeah, so you're saying with Myers and Genty, you're just trying to get points out of that Raiders offense against the Bears, and just kind
Yeah,
of aim for like a floor ceiling play to get something out of that offense.
yeah,
Get a
I
base
think
coverage.
it's more for Scadaboo versus Genty for me. So what do we do with Genty? He's not being involved in the passing game, right? Because coming out of college, he was supposed to be, his receiving numbers were great. He's got great hands. His pass blocking just seems terrible. But have they talked about maybe getting him more involved in the passing game?
Um, I it's I haven't seen anything. I could have a blind spot to that, but I would I would venture to think that they get him involved in that game more often, just because the ground game just isn't there. They have to get the ball to their best player in open space. They can't keep giving it to him when the line's getting blown up. It's You're fighting an uphill battle. It's 2nd and 10, and you're doing another run up the gut, and it's just playing bad football.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Because Chip Kelly is innovative. I was a big fan of Chip Kelly when he was at Philly. So,
mhm.
and he's historically top five getting his running back involved in the pass game. So, it's Genty Myers for me, but Nate's a Raiders fan, so I just don't think he wants to say both Raiders and then have them disappoint you, and then
Very fair.
Okay, TSS Flex full PPR DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, or Monty. I think Monty the RB1 last week with his 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. He must have been close.
Uh, I think it was the RB2 behind Taylor.
Yeah, that makes sense. But now we got the Browns, and if we pull up your awesome little chart, the Browns are second in running back points allowed, right? First
Mhm.
pass rush win rate, run stop rate first. It is. I think they've given up 0 explosive runs. This is the worst matchup possibly in the league for these Detroit running backs. Are you playing Monty?
Yeah, this is like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object with these two teams here. Like I think I'd start Monty because I trust the offense, but we saw the Browns call their shot and just obliterate what many would consider to be the best active running back in Derrick Henry. Just made him look like mincemeat. Um, yeah, I'm still probably starting him over one of these receivers.
Well, let's talk about so Devontae. They're playing Tampa, but Tampa also great against the run, right? They got Vita Vea up
Mhm.
there. We saw Philly actually aired out. Devontae Smith even scored, but AJ Brown, Dallas Goddard. They got there's a lot of mouths to feed, and we know Philly doesn't really want to pass, but their secondary's beat up, so maybe that's a high scoring game. Chris Godwin's back. Tristan Wirfs is going to be back in the O line for Tampa, so that's a really fun game. But Devontae's floor is just so low, right? He could have 2 catches for 12 yards. All
Mhm.
right, and then DJ Moore also been super underwhelming. I don't even know where he's ranked. Let's pull up you talk about DJ Moore while I pull up his wide receiver rank on the season.
Yeah, I think in this week you're getting a higher ceiling out of DJ Moore and Devontae Smith with the matchups that they have. The Raiders have been exclusively good against run stopping, and DJ Moore gets quick looks that are kind of short and intermediate, so he should have a lot of room to run after the catch against a bad secondary with the touches he gets. And Devontae Smith gets a Eagles matchup. Um, excuse me, um,
Tampa.
Tampa matchup, and they start airing out a little bit more. It's These two teams play each other really hard. They've had a couple good matchups over the last few years, and I think that the ceiling case should be more likely in this one for Devontae Smith than it has been in other weeks. But the floor is still what it is with him, and it could easily be 2 for 30.
Yeah, it's just such a great question because Monty obviously was unbelievable last year, but he's got one of the worst matchups in the league. And Devontae DJ Moore have great matchups, although I think DJ Moore is like the wide receiver, like 41.
Hmm.
Chicago plays single high a lot, which is not great for him. But if it's, they can't, if they're choosing not to run the ball into that Vegas D line, maybe it's more kind of screen gadget plays, more kind of can, get going. Maybe, five catches, a few around the line of scrimmage. Maybe he breaks one. I don't know. I think I'd go DJ Moore here. It's a Rome offense, but Colson Loveland is also out. So, that's also kind of big. I just think, there's got to be targets coming his way, right? Because Rome, it's not like Rome's seeing 15, right? Rome, so
Yeah,
I'd go
and I
DJ
think
Moore, but, plug my nose.
DJ Moore is getting some running back usage too out of the backfield for them.
Okay, nice. I don't know why I just love QB start sits. Jordan Love or Caleb. This is pretty tough. Caleb's been, I think, the QB3, but he killed the Cowboys. Who doesn't kill the Cowboys? Who's playing the Cowboys this week? Jordan Love. So what? I don't know. What do you do here? I don't even have a lean.
Man, this is tough. I wish I had this question already asked to myself earlier this week because I'm
Everyone's
starting
picking on
both
the
of these
Raiders.
guys. For good reason. They've been torched. They let Marcus Mariota run all over them, and I'm sure Caleb Williams looked like the fastest player in the NFL on that one play a few weeks, and he could do it through the air and on the ground in this one, trying to run away from Max Crosby. I'd probably go Caleb just because I feel like the usage is automatic for them, and Jordan Love, you could see a game script where they're just keeping it on the ground.
So yeah, Raiders 29th in wide receiver points allowed, right? So that really helps that DJ Moore case. I think Love's gonna probably got 200 yards, 2 touchdowns as the floor. And then Dak would have to have like a massive game to keep them throwing, right? But without Lamb, I don't really see that. So I think, I would probably, depends what you want, floor ceiling, because Caleb's, that could be a 38-35 game, right? If the Bears can't stop anyone and the Raiders are cooking, because, we know they got a lot of weapons. So I'd probably rock with Caleb because you're also going to get the rushing. Because Love, you might only have a half.
Yeah. One thing I noted on the Sunday Night Football preview is that there are injuries on the offensive line on both sides of this game. And I think that could just lead to just a more negative game environment with less points on the board if both offenses just generally have less success. And with one where one is favored so heavily in Green Bay, I feel like this could just be an unfortunate slogfest in some outcomes.
Okay, but also I think Love kills Dallas too, right? So, and then I'm just trying to think. The Chicago Raiders. Where's the game? Is it in Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I like having my QBs at home. Especially these younger, unproven ones. They're just a little shaky on the road. Like I'll never play Michael Penix on the road again. So I'd lean Caleb, but going Love is safe. Like he's not going to have a bad game. The usage might not be crazy high, but he could be 16 for 22 for 220 and 2 touchdowns, right? Okay, next part of the question. Maybe we're spending too many times in these questions. But okay, Pollard or Henderson or Chase Brown? We'll go kind of quickly. Pollard's got his 1 touchdown. His usage is crazy. Chase Brown is terrible. Does he even have 100 yards rushing on the season? Right? He's probably
I doubt it.
2 yards a carry. Browning doesn't really check down. It's not a good matchup. Denver's a beast. Henderson, they said they're not going to take, or Vrabel said he's not downgrading Ramondre because of the 2 fumbles, but that's a lie. He's not going to. He will be. So what are you doing here? Just taking the usage cow and Pollard?
Yeah, probably. I'm waiting and seeing with Henderson. I don't want to buy in too quickly after they already so quickly kind of took his usage back after week 1. They immediately gave Stevenson and Gibson usage over him in the following weeks, and I doubt they'd be so quick to just give him the full workload or anything like that. That would be fantasy relevant to start him right away.
Okay, because also the thing is playing Carolina. Carolina's been their secondaries holding up, or at least it's on paper. We know they can't stop the run. They've been historically bad at it. But Bijan, it's not like he had a massive game last week. I bet his yards 82.5, and he didn't hit it. But he also didn't really run much in the 4th. So we know Travion is going to hit. It is a nice matchup, but the tea leaves are saying he's not going to get the work. I think he will get the work, but don't bet on him and then be like, you're an idiot. Vrabel, listen to Vrabel. So Tony Pollard, right? I think you go him. Houston's not a great matchup. The Tennessee offense does suck, but it's three good players, and you might not get many points even if you combine them. So I think you lean Pollard there. Okay, trade Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson for Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson. I mean, I don't know. Best QB and the best wide receiver for the best QB and the best wide receiver.
Man, this is crazy. I mean, if you're looking at this first half, it looks like Justin Jefferson might have the better QB situation. He's got like 8 for 97 on Pittsburgh right now through 2 quarters. But man,
So for me, I'm looking at the QBs, and that Baltimore defense is so bad that makes me lean Lamar, even though he's running at career less. I just think I want shootouts. I want him throwing. Their pass over neutral rate is really high, so Lamar is crazy. And they got lots of weapons. They're getting likely back. Josh Allen, the Bills might be too good, and their schedule's too easy, so they're just going to be, Allen's going to be throwing for 200, where Lamar's going to be throwing for 300.
yeah.
So that's what it would be for me. The Chase Jefferson's like, I don't know nobody can pick that. They're both the best. So and they both have backup QBs. So anyone who says they know, but it's fun trade.
Yeah, I'd probably lean Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson just because I think that the Vikings offense is going to be so much more efficient as a whole than the Bengals without Joe Burrow and with how bad their offensive line is. So I'd probably take I do think Jackson is my preferred quarterback, but it's such a splitting hairs with Josh Allen that I might take the Justin Jefferson side over Jamar Chase.
Okay, but the counter to that is that Vikings D looks so great that they might be, if they're blowing teams out like they blew out Cincy, they don't need to get Jefferson involved. Where we know the Cincy defense is terrible, that they will be a negative game script the whole time, put Chase, right? So we can play that game all day, but yeah, you make a good point though. I like the Minnesota offense more. Okay, and Anthony, you're killing me. No, just kidding. Chase Brown or Devontae Smith. We kind of felt like we almost just danced around that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, Chase Brown's guaranteed usage, but will any of it be any good?
Yeah, I'd probably go Devontae Smith and just try and see if this game takes off and hope Smith is a part of it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Since I fear the Denver defense, and is it the Sunday nighter?
Monday night.
Monday night, right? Monday night. Denver at home Monday night, and they're 1-2, so they're going to be the hungriest team in the league, right? But teams after a blowout usually play well. So, maybe that's just me talking myself into Atlanta. Okay, Terry, Hale, full PPR, Debo or Chuba at the flex. I think no brainer. You got to go Debo City. Mariota looked unbelievable last week. He was even throwing the ball with Terry McLaurin out. They don't really have another option. Chuba's been getting most of his points in the receiving game. He's also a little banged up. Let's go to the chart. How are the Pats defensively? Because I know they've been kind of shit, but they get Christian Gonzalez back, which isn't great for Tet.
I think they've been really good at stopping the run this year. They're second in run stop win rate. They stood up the Raiders. That's the only matchup I can remember off the top of my head, but they stood us up for sure in week 1.
Second run stop win rate. Wow, that gets me a little scared of Chuba, right? So I might be benching Chuba in leagues. So Debo, no brainer, right?
Yeah, I think he gets a ton of volume here. He should be their best mode of offense this week.
Okay, great. And then Mayfield or Indiana Jones. Dun, 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 dun. I love Indiana Jones, one of my favorite movies. But let's put that aside. This is not a movie podcast, although maybe it should be. So Tampa, right? We got Emeka Buka, superstar. We got Chris Godwin back, who was a wide receiver 2, fantasy points per game last year before he got hurt. Godwin's probably going to go to slot. Ibuka go to kind of the X, play the sideline, which he's been really good at so far. Philly has one elite corner, and their secondary is really banged up. So maybe you can throw on them because you can't really run on them. What are you doing here? Because this is two great quarterbacks, but you want 30 points.
Yeah, this is tough. I like both these guys this week. I'd probably go I'd probably lean Daniel Jones, but it's close.
Okay.
It's really
Okay.
close.
So, guys, remember, if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube, right? The questions are rolling. We're at 50 minutes, but we're going to go for a little while longer because I'm feeling juiced. Man. Okay, matchup wise. So, Indy is playing. Why is my brain malfunctioning?
Rams.
Rams, right? So, both playing good defenses, both have good offenses. So, matchup wise, it's kind of equal. I probably go Daniel Jones here just because I don't know what Godwin's going to give me. Although I love Worth's back, and Bucky's been great in the receiving game. Baker is a badass and runs a lot. I would probably lean Jones here just because I don't know what I'm getting with Godwin in the first game back. But, you can't really go wrong. But, I mean, ride Jones while he's hot. Just quickly, home away, Indy's on
Bucks
the
are at
road.
home.
Tampa Bucks at home. Oh, well, that just flips that a little. Jesus.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Colts Rams has 5 points higher in their point total on the week.
That's big.
Yeah, sharp lean on the over in that one. No leans in the Bucks Eagles game.
Okay, maybe we just flipped it. Maybe you go Baker. Honestly, you know what? It's going to be fun. Maybe what game are you going to watch? Do you have a stack? Find a little ancillary thing to kind of put it over the top because, I mean, Baker's been so great. And he's going to run the ball in this big game. And he kind of owns, doesn't he? Does he own the Eagles too? Right?
He's definitely shown out against him. He lays it on the line, man. I love watching Baker play football.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I couldn't be more helpful. It's too good a question. Dylan Fink, my man, what up? Let's have a day. Yes. I might need a drink before the 1 p.m. games. Okay. What's going on in that? I'll answer this question. Just catch me up in that Pittsburgh one in a second.
Gotcha.
So it's full PPR, 2 different leagues. Need to win. 1 QB, Mariota, no Terry. No, that is scary. Or Tua, bum on Monday Night Football. Is he bum on Monday Night Football? He's kind of okay. 1 QB, Mariota. Well, he's kind of going to be running the ball. He's his own offense. That Atlanta defense is kind of elite. And Tua, the Jets. I mean, Jets have been pretty terrible. Right? Let's pull up some Jets stats. Jets, right? 22nd QB points allowed, 23rd wide receiver points allowed, 20th running back points allowed, 20th in pass run win rate, 16th in run stop win rate. So Miami should be able to move the ball. I think that is a kind of a sneaky high scoring game. But Tua is kind of a bum. Mariota's got the high floor. Tua's got that higher ceiling. It's pretty close for me. I'd probably go Tua. Just because with no McLaurin, Mariota's going to have to get most of his points on the ground, or Debo would have to break one. Where are you in that quickly, Tua or Mariota?
Probably Tua.
I don't trust it. I think the Jets defense is kind of stinky, and we know Tua is great against a bad defense. Tyreek's look good. We got Waddle. Change going to be great in the receiving game. I'd probably, if McLaurin was playing, probably Mariota, but also I don't trust Mariota to look great in back-to-back games. So that would do it for me. Okay. Flex, DeAndre Swift, Xavier Worthy, Juwan Johnson. Okay, I'm not playing Worthy in his first game back because, he's got one arm. It's limited work, even though it is a great matchup. The Ravens, I mean, if I pulled those Ravens defensive stats, it's going to be ugly. Okay, quickly, where are you? So DeAndre Swift, Juwan Johnson. Let's say it's the 2 of those. Raiders, right? Good run D, but Bills are only good against the tight ends.
Yeah.
Tough question.
That's tough, man. I really like Juwan Johnson's usage, like the way they're using him, the touches he gets. But DeAndre Swift should have touchdown opportunities against the Raiders in the red zone. So I think I might lean Swift, even though it's a bad matchup on paper.
So maybe that Bills tight end stats like overinflated, right? Week 1, Mark Andrews, K. Andrews was crap in week 1 and 2. He's great in week 3.
Yeah.
Then they also who do they play? They played Miami, who doesn't have a tight end, and
who was last
the
week?
Jets. The Jets who don't have a tight end, right? So Mason Taylor. So
yeah,
maybe that tight end stat's not real. So I say back Juwan Johnson and ignore the stat because it's we know it's going to be a pass heavy game and the pace is crazy. Okay, boom. All right, Golden Swift, Chase Brown. I mean, it's golden era, right?
Yeah, I think this is the Matthew Golden game. This has to be it.
This isn't it. It's not going to happen. So everyone's been projecting it, right? We know no Jaden Reed, we know no Christian Watson. So it's going to be Golden, Romeo Dobbs, Ontavian Wicks. Golden was terrible to start, but it looks like he's turning it on, and everybody loved him in the preseason. People were raving about him. So rock Golden, chase that ceiling, and hopefully it's a good day. Okay. Okay, TS, just a comment. Giants are going to be contained by the Chargers. What is this, Anthony's burner? Actually, no, he's reverse burner. I think, yeah, maybe. I love Jackson Dart. He had the second highest QBR in the preseason. Malik Neighbors is insane. Russ is a bum. But, yeah, you're relying on two rookies. That Chargers D is pretty good. But the pass offense is great. So, yeah, maybe they might be contained. But are the Giants just going to be able to cook in the second half if they're down 28-7? Because Jackson Dart's not afraid.
Yeah, I think that this could be just a Jackson Dart get reps game, and he's just chucking 50 passes at the Chargers.
Yeah, that'd
win
be
or
scary.
lose.
I just think it's hard to prepare for someone you haven't seen, and especially Dart with his dual threat. I think he's going to be maybe not efficient, but effective, right? Maybe 170 pass yards, 70 rush yards, touchdown, interception, maybe a fumble. There's going to be a lot of everything. But so who knows, right? How the ball bounces. But thank you for your comment. We will, Caden. Okay, Trey Tucker or Jalen Waddle. Okay, what do you? This is tough. What's Waddle been doing? He's kind of been mediocre.
Yeah, I think he did he catch a touchdown last week, or was that week 2? Let me pull it up real quick. I already spoke on Tucker in this game. I do think that he's a decent flex option. He's got a touchdown. Back to Jalen Waddle. He's got at least 5 catches on 6 targets and a touchdown in 2 straight weeks, 39 and 68 yards, respectively. So decent involvement. The touchdowns might not be as sticky. I don't think that they should be an indicator that he'll get any more or less touchdown looks. But the Jets defense is beatable. I just think that the Bears-Raiders game has a better environment to go off.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Waddle's obviously the better player, but Tucker had that blow up. It's a classic ceiling floor. We know Waddle's probably going to get a bunch of targets, but Tucker, maybe Brock Bowers is healthy and Jacoby Myers has that game. What's the other guy, Dante Thornton, that they kind of like. They still got your guy Jack Betch. I think, is he hurt or he's just not playing? So it's tough. But, I mean, I just kind of like riding the hot hand. Trey Tucker just had the blow. He had 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. I mean, just, ride him. If he does it again, you're probably going to win your league because you just got a wide receiver 2 for nothing. So, and I just kind of don't like Waddle, even though I just rep Tua in the one before. But
and another thing to note, Jacoby Myers did request a trade before the season started. So that just because they told him they wouldn't trade him then doesn't mean that they couldn't reopen those discussions and pave the way for Tucker just have a clearer shot at the one role.
Okay, Ivan Moya, Dak or Mahomes, super studs. I mean, this is no brainer for me. You go first, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Oh man, I think Mahomes to lay it all out against the Ravens. I'm a little skeptical of the Ravens defense, and Dak's going against Green Bay.
Yeah, I think easy, especially Mahomes is running the ball like crazy. He's the leading rusher at the QB position. Who knows how sustainable that is? But it's great if you got Mahomes, right? They're getting Worthy back, but he might be good for a touchdown. Snap shares probably would be under 50. But that Baltimore defense, let's pull up the stats. It is ugly. Okay, right. Why I'm just so slow at this. Okay, Ravens are 28th in QB points allowed, 20th in wide receiver points allowed, 32nd in running back points allowed. But we don't have to worry about that with KC. 26 in tight end points allowed, even though Kelsey sucks. So it's like this has got shootout potential. Both teams are desperate. They're going to be airing it out. And both defenses aren't what they were even a season ago when they were elite. So I think you can throw them both. I love Mahomes in this one. I can't wait for that game. Jesus. Oh my God. I just got goosebumps. Dak, no CeeDee Lamb. I mean, maybe he gets garbage time stats, but those Packers D, I'm playing Pickens, but I'm not happy about it. Ferguson be the only guy I'd be happy about. Okay, Ivan Moya, Judkins is RB2 or Pollard. Well, it's kind of the same kind of boat. Cleveland is, awesome. Judkins is awesome, but Detroit just held Henry in check, right? What do you do with Judkins? Because Pollard's ugly. Judkins is awesome. Everyone loves Judkins. I love Judkins. but I think you might not start him this week.
Yeah, this one's tough. I think like Pollard is in a better matchup than he's gonna get against the Texans more often than not. Judkins obviously has just shown more juice on his touches. It'll be ugly, but Pollard probably outscores him here.
Yeah, it's just both offenses are just anemic. So if you go to matchup, right? Houston's been great, but if we go to the board, right? Let's check Detroit, Houston's their run defenses. I wish I was better at finding this.
Texans are 26th in run stop win rate. Lions are 31st. Okay, so the Lions have been bad on paper at everything on defense themselves too.
So explain that to me for the Lions, because we all watched that Ravens game when they stopped Henry and also sacked Lamar, right? They played the Packers week 1.
Mhm.
Packers were pretty good. Week 2, Lions played. That was their get right game when they scored 52, right?
Yeah, I think it's maybe just on a per touch basis. The Bears still put up points on them in that loss. The Ravens still put up points on them in that loss. The Packers put it on them in week 1. It's not. There are some parts that don't stand up to the eye test just on pure volume sake.
So I guess maybe that Lions run defense isn't what it was last year, even though I guess maybe we got that recency bias because we all watched week 2 with maybe a bigger lens. So maybe Judkins is actually a sneaky option this week because we know he's getting all the usage. We know he's a monster. So, you know what? I think I just talked myself into Judkins. I might have to start him. Would you start him over Chuba Hubbard?
You know that probably not over Chuba. I would probably start him over Pollard. As I was just thinking, if you told me that Judkins and Pollard were both getting the same amount of touches, you'd have to take Judkins just because of the talent.
Yeah, okay, Judkins. It's because I got my big money league where I have the greatest team ever. I'm so happy, but I got Bucky, Gibbs, and James Cook, right? So I can't. I know, right? I can't put Judkins in there, right? I just can't.
No.
But I need to play him. I need to play. What's the worst run D in the league in your opinion? One of
the
them.
worst, man. Is it still? I think it's Jacksonville right now.
Okay. Would you play Judkins versus Jacksonville over one of those 3?
If you said it was Bucky, Gibbs, and Cook. Maybe Bucky in a bad matchup.
Isn't that crazy?
But that is crazy.
Okay, sorry. So, and at my flex, pick one: Pollard, Pittman, Tucker, Javonte. I mean, Javante's probably out. Trey Tucker. Pittman. Are you doing Pittman here?
I think it's Pittman. Highest point total on the week. Daniel's been playing good. Yeah, just get the wide receiver 1 and the highest point total on an offense in the highest point total game in the week.
Okay, guys, we can go an hour. Maybe we'll go 7 more minutes, maybe a couple minutes longer. I'm still feeling good. Nathan, you doing good?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the update? Give me that quick update. What's going on?
Oh yeah, all good. Not a whole lot since the halftime broke. Carson Wentz just threw a pick since I last checked. And Pittsburgh is driving up 14-6, and they're in the red zone about to score. Justin Jefferson has 8 for 97. DK Metcalf 4 for 122 and a score. Kenny Gainwell is 8 for 37 and a score. And Jordan Mason has 15 touches for 61.
Okay. Frosty, Goff or Fields, rest of the season, 4-point touchdown. 4-point touchdown is important. That probably knocks Goff off and makes Fields. But I mean, are you taking his injury into account? Because Goff doesn't get hurt. Fields already got a concussion. I am leading Fields, but the Jets suck and Detroit's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just rest of the season. It's hard to commit to Fields rest of the season. I would just take
open the door.
Yep, all good. I would just take the security of having that Detroit offense for the rest of the season. Fields did not look good. He had that concussion in week 2, but he played basically the whole game, and they looked rough. I would just take Jared Goff to keep doing what he's doing and lead one of the league's best offenses.
Yeah, one of my dogs is being a butthead. Yeah, I mean, why rest the season? I don't understand why you got to pick. I
Maybe a trade or cut
okay,
candidate.
okay,
A
yeah.
QB2.
Maybe I'd look at maybe a little schedule too, right? Because if it's pretty close, maybe I'd look at that week 15. Because for me, it's the fantasy playoffs. That might be a little, if it's golf on the road, outdoors in the winter. Because I know the schedule's not as great for Detroit. That might make me lean Fields. Because
Yeah. If this is your QB2, maybe I would lean Fields for the upside if he does pan out over a season long. But if you're looking for like your starting quarterback for the rest of the season, I think it's Goff, no question.
yeah. I mean, he looked great at Baltimore, but I guess everyone looks great. But that throw he made to Monroe on 4th down, that was a big boy throw. Okay, guys, make sure, right? A few more minutes. Not all our episodes are available on Twitter, so you got to come over to YouTube. Get your questions in. We will hit every question. Elephant picture. Cool. I like it. Love riding elephants. Okay, Judkins or Keenan full PPR. I feel like you guys are just daring us to pick Judkins in a crazy scenario. We go back and forth all week, as would I. Keenan's what? Wide receiver 8 on the season. Judkins is the sexy new shiny toy. Matchup favors Keenan heavily. Or does it? Because we just saw those Detroit stats, right? They're not stopping the run. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk it out. What floor? I mean, is probably Judkins because we know he'll get usage, but like Keenan's been crazy, but he's competing with Ladd, who's the best wide receiver. Quentin Johnson, who's kind of that deep throat, getting a lot of red zone work. Full PPR. Judkins isn't really involved. His route participation is pretty high, but Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson getting the work. Maybe that PPR is the final edge toward Keenan.
Yeah, I would go Keenan here. He's been pretty automatic, and Chargers are number one in neutral pass rate and wide receiver usage. They're just like the odds of him getting looks is so high right now, with the way that the Chargers are running their offense, and they just lost Najee, um, so maybe they'd be even less inclined to just put everything on Hampton and even air it out at least at the same rate they've been doing.
And yeah, if you're just thinking who's the 31st in wide receiver points allowed, the New York Giants. So I think ride Keenan into the ground. Although I know you want to play Judkins. I want to play Judkins. Everybody wants to play Judkins, but I think this is the last stash week for him. And if he goes off, then you just get to play him. You just put him in every week on Monday, and you don't even think about it. So Judkins is going up. Keenan is going down because Keenan's at the top. So But it's tough, man. That's one of those good props, so it doesn't suck. I take it back. It does not suck. Okay, Domo, half PPR, two flex, a super flex league. Do I trade ATN for Ted McMillan? That's pretty nice, I guess. I mean, I'm not the biggest ATN believer. Jacksonville's kind of weird, so I don't know. Do you? Ted's banged up and he's gonna play. I like Ted.
Yeah, I like Ted a lot.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, the Panthers are just throwing the ball so much. They're like third in neutral pass rate, as you pointed out, maybe before the show started. But a ton of usage going that way. ETN is in a confusing backfield. They just started mixing in their other rookie running back ahead of Tootin, who was supposed to be taking ETN's job eventually. There's a ton of moving parts in that backfield. ETN looked he wound up fine last week, but I think through 3 quarters he had like 10 for 20 yards or something. He was pretty rough last week until he turned it up late. And I would just bank on Tet having the needle pointing up for the rest of the season, whereas ETN should probably simmer down where he's been in week 1 and 2.
yeah, I mean, especially rookie wide receivers, we know they trend up as the season goes. The only worry is maybe if you don't like Bryce. Like, I hate having Trey McBride because I just don't trust Kyler. I think just he's kind of a loser. He was the worst QB I've ever seen in football for 2 quarters, and then the second half he was the best QB. So it's like it's just that roller coaster. So with that, Bryce Young does have a little Kyler in him, which is scary. Okay, I have CMC, Jason Taylor. This is why he would do it because he's got CMC, JT, and Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, shout out. So ATN's expendable because Tyreek is going to go down. Pickens is kind of a loser. Olave, wow, yeah, you need wide receiver help.
Yeah.
Your wide receivers are old, crazy, or mercurial. and I don't trust any of them, even though I do like them. But yeah,
Yeah, you should
uh,
make that trade on Wednesday so you could play Ted this week.
yeah, good call. Terry's back. I take it back. I still don't know whether Mayfield or Jones. I'm sorry, I couldn't. We couldn't be more helpful. But I don't. I honestly, I don't know what to do. I love me some Baker. I have a hard time benching Baker. But there's just a little bit more question marks. But you said highest totals at Indy game, right?
Yeah.
So you got to go to the total. I think you got to trust Vegas. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust us. Trust Vegas. That's probably the best way to approach it. Okay, Calvo, week 4, and I'm in shambles. I'm sorry, Calvo. Start one. Oh my God, Calvo, you are in shambles. Oh my God, Rico Dado, Chris Rodriguez, RT Harvey, Ollie Gordon. Oh my God.
Oh
Um,
man.
well, I don't know. I mean, because we saw last week, Ja'Cory was starting, but then Rodriguez had the most carries, but Jeremy McNichols had the biggest runs.
Yeah.
So just by that volume, Dowdle's kind of inching in, and it's kind of these backup running backs are getting these touchdowns. We saw Dowdle got one last. They all got one last week. I feel, and then Charbonnet got one on Thursday. So Rodriguez, I'm leaning Rodriguez. Ollie Gordon got a touchdown last week.
Yeah, this is tough, man. RJ Harvey's getting like a couple manufactured touches to start the
Yeah.
game, and then he doesn't like mix in at all.
Okay, but then they're playing Cincy. What if they're blowing Cincy out and then they
Then
sit
that
down Dobbins and then Hart, right? So
like that's probably like a more realistic outcome than Rico Dowdle hitting home
okay, Dowdle.
against the Patriots' second-ranked run defense with
Yep.
Chuba Hubbard above him. Ollie Gordon got so he had usage last week and he got the touchdown, but it was on a short week on Thursday night. I feel like they were kind of leaning on him a bit more because of that. I
Smart.
don't think his role will be as consistent week to week with as good as Devon Achane is. Um, that said, they get the Jets this week. For me, it's between Ollie and Rodriguez.
Falcons 6 to running back points allowed, right? The
Yes.
defense doesn't make any sense. They're 4th in QB points, 6th in wide receiver, 6th in running back points, 1st in tight end points allowed. How is the defense good?
Yeah, they
But
played JJ McCarthy in his last game. They held up Bryce Young last week, and I think they played like I can't remember who they played week 1, but a couple bad QB matchups, so it's a little inflated in their favor. I think they're not as good as their defense shows
yeah,
on paper, so
I'd
I might
say
lean Rodriguez.
yeah, I'd lean Rodriguez. But if you want maybe like a home run possibility, playing hitting black 3 times in a row in roulette, you go maybe RJ Harvey, and maybe he gets
Mhm.
all this crazy second half usage. Or knock on wood, I have J.K. Dobbins. I don't want him to get hurt. Maybe Dobbins gets hurt because we know he is going to go down this season. It is inevitable. Rage Rod, Brees Hall, or J.K. Dobbins, PPR. Back to J.K. Dobbins. I mean, I was going to say you have to start Dobbins because it's the greatest matchup in history, but Brees
Yeah.
Hall, also great matchup. Like let's pull up Miami's defensive run stats. It's probably gonna be bad. Dolphins, they are 31st in QB points allowed. Okay, they are 28th in running back points allowed. Right, so that Dolphins is crap. We got Fields back, so maybe they'll be more like week 1 when they're just running the ball down their throat. But week 2, we saw the offense fell apart against the Bills. So Brees has got some volatility. He's been bad the last 2 weeks. Dobbins feels like he scores every week, right? No brainer.
Yeah, this is like Dobbins is my guy. I think
Yeah.
he's my RB 13 or RB 12 this week. He gets the Bengals, and unless there's a world where RJ Harvey's coming into like they had this matchup circled on their calendar to get him involved, um, Dobbins should be automatic in this one.
Automatic. Yeah. Bengals 31st in running back points allowed, right? That's just boom, 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 boom. I would almost try and find a way to get Brees in as well. It's a nice little spot, but Dobbins gonna smash. Okay, Smurfino, I remember you. Hey y'all, I need some flex help. PPR, tight end premium. Okay, what's up? What's up? Njoku versus the Lions or Trey Tucker versus the Bears? I don't know, Nate. I honestly I don't know.
Tight end premium. Lions, we saw them let Mark Andrews get a couple like a garbage time touchdown and one not garbage time. They've been pretty bad against tight ends this season. I believe they allowed the fourth most points to them this year. So good matchup there. Trey Tucker is in another in that blow up spot, or good positive game environment in Chicago, or with Chicago and Vegas. It's pretty even. Njoku against the Lions defense. This is tough. John, do you have a lean here?
I was just checking the injury updates to make sure everybody was playing. Not in this game, just in general. I missed something. I don't know. Tight end premium's nice, but that Harold Fannin is, I don't like having one tight end on a two tight end team, right? Like, I don't know if I play Andrews with Likely back, although Likely's like my guy. I'm just trying to check how are the Lions versus the tight end, because Mark Andrews just crushed them. So maybe that I'd go to Joku just because maybe the Lions aren't going to be good versus tight end, even though I do like their linebackers.
Yeah, 10-point favorites are the Lions in that one over the Browns. Flacco should be dropping back a ton. It's just a matter of Harold Fannin having a bit of their workloads kind of just overlap a bit, and it makes it frustrating. But it's a positive environment. I would probably go to Njoku there and trust the talent.
I think that the tight end premium probably just puts it over the top for me. Anthony, you're gonna get it. Hubbard or Chase Brown, two losers. I know Hubbard's your guy. Chase Brown was kind of my guy. I don't know, right? You said that because the Pats are good against the run, Denver's good against everything. Both are kind of more receiving backs this season. Hubbard, they just announced is playing. I'd lean Hubbard, I think.
Yeah, I'd lean Hubbard, but it's a bad look for both of them.
I don't really want any part of Cincy against the angry Denver at home in a night game. I'm just not a believer in Jake Browning. Never was. Kids, Brees versus Miami, Judkins versus Detroit. Thank you for giving us the games, but hopefully we knew that. And you said spelled Brees wrong, but maybe is that all the weed in the picture? I'm just kidding. It's been over an hour. We're getting a little funky. Judge. This is tough. But if that Detroit run defense is what they are versus what they were, I think you got to go. I don't know.
I think I go Brees here. I think
Brees?
I think that Brees is he's still good with the football in his hands, and it's a bad matchup. And
good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
Okay. Yeah, we found the Judkins line, Brees Hall. All right, he was still the RB3 2 years ago. Yeah, Miami is bad.
And Fields is back to take some of maybe that rushing pressure off of him.
Yeah, or at least get the run game more. Even though Tyler Taylor ran it for like 40 yards last week or something. Yeah, this is tough. This is fun either way, but I think the Miami defense is worse, and then Brees is, but he's had 2 bad games in a row, so this is, maybe you call this the inflection game, and then next week, if Brees doesn't show up, you just Judkins every week.
The format isn't mentioned. If it's any PPR, the gap is wider between Brees and Judkins. If it's a standard, it's closer.
Yeah, standard, maybe Judkins. Okay. We caught up to all the questions. We'll go. How about this? I'll go to hour 20. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to get any more questions, and we're gonna wrap up. Nate, you got any bets? You got anything we didn't cover that jumped out doing your research?
No, I haven't. I haven't looked. That's what I'm gonna do after this. Is dig into it a little bit more.
What was your bet for the Sunday nighter? Did you get a parlay?
Oh yeah. I took the game total under, Micah Parsons over half a sack, and Matthew Golden over 43.5 receiving yards for a plus 497 parlay.
Okay, nice. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing anything in this 1 p.m. games, but that 4 p.m. game seems like juicy. I cannot wait. That Philly Tampa. No, I'm going to have to bet Philly Tampa. But that KC game, I might just do like a Mahomes, Lamar, both rushing QB parlay, because I think both teams are their must-win games. So empty the clip. Okay.
I have that same train of thought when I'm looking at lines.
Yeah, and it's going to be just a fun game. Okay, we didn't get any questions, so all right, everyone, make sure you jump over to YouTube, give us a like, give us some love, or give me some hate. I can probably take it. I might cry later. We'll see. But that's it for us. So Tuesday I'll be doing a pod. Jump in, we'll do some review, little preview, little whatever. Then Thursday we're back, and then next Sunday, week 5. Okay, great. All right, Amen. Thanks a lot. This has been great. We will see you guys soon. Cheers.